And before you say, oh, let's convert to light rail,
That kind of did
the
not see that
line
coming.
has 2 customers left on it. Only 2 customers left. And it could be swayed for a panic because it's owned by Norfolk Southern, leads to the Iowa Interstate. And if Iowa Interstate doesn't want to continue the lease, Norfolk Southern might just abandon the line.
Yeah, that's probably could be an option. Like I've said, it's going to be better when states are going to be working on their own projects rather than having the federal government lead anything, because it's either way, no matter who's in charge at this point, it's
tell me about it.
To be more incumbent on the states to say, hey, we're going to take charge of this, whether you have the wackiness over in California where they're never going to build anything, or whatever's going on in Texas. Look, that just gives people more of a chance to say, hey, you know what, I don't like what the hell they're doing over here.
Agreed.
Florida's full, so please, unless you're born and raised in Florida or married to somebody who is a Floridian, don't come to Florida, we're full. Or Indiana. Indiana's also full too.
That's true.
I have a question. What about tourists? Are tourists from Florida?
Or what?
True.
Tourists. People to come and
tourists? Yeah, they leave.
Yeah.
You have to leave.
What about the snowbirds?
We all know how that feel here.
Snowbirds. Because we do have people who really hate the snow.
Pick one. Pick one.
I love snow.
Don't just come and then leave. No, pick one. Pick one. Okay. And then pick Florida. Okay, fine. Just stay. Just stay.
Every of the southern closed off by a few thousand people because they hate the winter, but they love the state. They hate the winter. It's so good.
Look, I get it, and I have family who do that now, but it's like, it's look, and I have a thing with that. It's just that it's not particularly fair for the people who actually are born and raised there, because it does.
It's true.
Boost
also,
up
I did not even realize that lights had cut off
the
there
housing prices there. Which are already extremely exorbitant, but they are going to start to come down either way. Look, I honestly believe that at this point, it's already changing. The paradigm for what housing is in the United States is changing, and it's becoming now less and less of an investment vehicle. The time that you can go ahead, buy a house, and think that, it's just going to go up forever because green line go up. No, that's ending. To the point that I think housing is going to start to change here in the United States.
Dimitri is right.
Starter housing is going to be rebuilt again at some point, or houses that have been built now are going to be repurposed to either be multi-family homes or something else.
Oh, Dimitri, you're gonna laugh at this. You're gonna laugh at. I had to start my live. I have to do a second part of my live stream. The first part cut off. Like,
oh man.
Hey, don't worry. I managed to save it though. I got a second part up and running. Only took me a minute. But literally, while we were middle of talking, it cut off, and I do not know why it did that. But it backed up and running now. But I had to start on the second part, so 2-part live stream.
Yeah, but here's something, and I know we talk a lot about, because housing and city building, town planning, all that sort of stuff in general, that's all tied together with infrastructure.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
It's not just about a train, but it starts with a train, and it kind of ends with that as well, because a lot of these cities have been built because of the railroads here in the United States and grew around the railroads, and then we just seen the evolving into cities. But post-war, we started to see. First, it was a massive influx of starter homes because a lot of the GIs coming home, and I've stayed in those homes before. Very simple, and they're still very good homes. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, kitchen, living room, maybe a garage, maybe a basement, depending on where you are. Most likely a basement, but good homes. Good way to start a family.
Oh yeah, they're
and if
good.
You tell code enforcement, you can put some more people in the basement. So why not?
Now, I will be honest. They need to make houses better. Today, they're just really cheap and they're slab homes.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, wait, here's
true.
another thing about Holmes. Hold on a second. Well, there was a couple things that I saved. Funny enough, since we talked about this, here's a Spanish town that banned been car free for 19 years. Funny enough.
I know there's an island in Michigan that banned cars.
Oh yeah, that too.
It's a tourist attraction now, but it's like
Talking about Isle Royale. You're talking about Isle Royale.
Mackinac Island. You can fire island. Yeah.
Yeah, Mackinac Island. Yeah, Mackinac. Was it Mackinac? Mackinac?
Yeah, Mackinac Island.
And the only time where they actually allow cars on that island is when they gotta when they gotta do maintenance, when they gotta do their required services to the island. Which is rare. That's the only time apparently they allow trash trucks on that island.
Oh yeah,
Is
that
when
for sure.
there are no tourists on. Is when they're just doing services.
Alright, here we are, Mackinac Island. Let me go ahead and bring it up for those of you who are listening in or watching and have absolutely no clue what we're talking about. So, there is.
Ride horses like the
It's
old
a
days,
crazy.
or they walk, or they bike.
Yeah.
You say
So there is on the.
I guarantee you, if Manhattan Island, Manhattan Island, or at least the downtown area, the southern part of Manhattan,
Zuckerberg hijacked the live stream
and the
tonight.
use of cars, it would
That for
literally
sure.
make that the cleanest island in the entire world.
I don't know why, but the live stream did.
I don't think probably the cleanest in the entire world, but possibly. I mean, a lot,
Oh, but did
a lot
not- don't have
cleaner
it
than
again.
it was before. But here you go, guys. So Mackinac Island, it's right at the tip of the top of Michigan over here, the lower peninsula. But yeah, it's a historic site, and there are no cars allowed on the island. And it's a nice place to go ahead and visit. I've always wanted to visit it. Visit there.
It's on my bucket
Yeah.
list. I went
You could.
here, the island.
Like
Yeah, it is a pretty cool place from what I hear.
it bikeable.
Yeah.
It a bikeable island.
People bike, people walk, people bike, everything without cars.
Oh yeah, that for sure. Also, I think it's time for us to let Brightline
Just a
speak
little
because
vacation. What
I-
about during the winter with winter residents?
it's the same.
During the winter, well, actually, I think that's the time when they really do a lot of servicing on the island.
Enjoy the
When
snow.
there's no, yeah, they do all the service. That's when probably they do the servicing on the island. That's how they probably operate.
Also, I think it's time for us to give Brightline his turn because he is waiting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yes, he has been waiting. Bright line.
Yeah, Brightline, go ahead.
Alright. It's been finally. Okay, anyways. Okay, I was getting a lot of news articles about East Palestine.
oh
Norfolk
god,
Southern hasn't resolved the situation going on in East Palestine.
and it's been 2 years.
Millions of dollars for damages yet.
Oh man.
You know, hey, what's that? What's the sound where everyone slaps their hand on their face?
It's been 2 freaking years, and news articles
I'm not surprised. And I'm not surprised at this administration. I didn't think they were going to do anything. I mean, let's put it this way. They paid a lot of lip service to what happened in East Palestine. They particularly picked a vice president from Ohio. Some of it was that decision was based on catering to Ohioans and what happened in East Palestine. Nothing has really moved with that forward. Or no, let's put it this way. There's been no real justice for the people of East Palestine.
Oh yeah,
No.
there have not
There'll
been.
be justice for probably never.
Probably.
That's usually the air is forever doomed in that town.
Yeah,
The
that.
air, the water, the dirt. Yeah, I mean, you've completely you've destroyed the whole town, and now you're not even helping the residents who either want to get out or anything.
I mean, if the Republicans aren't caring about East Palestine, then that just goes to show the state of our politicians not caring about the people.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
Once you become a big politician like J.D. Vance is now, you care less about small situations like that and more about the bigger situations that are going on.
Yeah,
I don't
it's just a lot.
No, that's just a small town.
Oh yeah.
Listen, it's been, we've been covering this East Palestine situation for over 2 years now, and I've been covering all those articles about the East Palestine situation 1,000 times to David Mitchell last stream.
Oh yeah.
David Mitchell about that.
Oh yeah. You can vouch. He telling the truth. Like he telling the truth.
A jury. The last time we visited this, Norfolk Southern was trying to shift blame on both the chemical company and the equipment company of the railroad car. I believe one or the other is either the chemical company is paying damages or the rail car company is paying damages, or has been also fleeced in here to pay damages. Which, look, all of this is 100% Norfolk Southern's.
Oh yeah, that for
sure. It's not
sure.
the chemical maker's fault. It's not the equipment maker's fault of the car, because Norfolk Southern knew, and because of precision scheduled railroading, they deferred any sort of needed repairs on the equipment. It was burning. The brakes were on fire for nearly 20 miles. The driver of the train called multiple times and said, "Hey, we need to stop," and they told him, "No, keep going." And brakes failed. Boom. This is what happens. This is 100% Norfolk Southern's fault.
It is, that for sure.
I'll be honest, if I were the driver, I would have just stopped. Said you can come do it yourself.
Yeah, and you know what? It's the problem is that because in today's economy that so many people are so dependent on it. It's really hard to find a job right now. It's not like you could just quit, leave, walk out and go find something else. I mean, it's just sad. It's a sad situation all around.
Yeah. Sorry?
Yeah. Here we are. Okay, hold on. Norfolk Southern lost a similar lawsuit last year when it tried to force GATX and oxyvinyls, which made the vinyl chloride, to help pay for the environmental cleanup after the derailment has cost the Atlanta-based railroad more than $1 billion, and they should be paying more.
They should
be. It made similar arguments on this. Yeah, it's trying to pass the blame. They're trying to pass the blame, pass the buck, and that says a lot about Norfolk Southern and their leadership. That's really scummy and that's sick.
Oh, speaking of that, I just sent a meme that Dimitri, I just sent a meme that would reference Norfolk Southern in a funny way.
There's a butthole joke.
Oh man.
You see the meme?
There's a butt of Norfolk Southern is the butt of all jokes.
Yes.
One of the largest systems
Like,
on the East Coast, and they're just the butt of the joke on everything.
Yeah.
but this is what PSR do to our railroads. This is what PSR does.
Hold on, real quick, because Adam Everywhere posted this over here. Salary you need to afford, because we were talking about housing prices.
For on your wedding.
Oh, thank you, man. No, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, congrats, brother.
Oh,
Thank you,
speaking
man.
of that,
Welcome to married life.
being at Alan
I'm
Everywhere,
enjoying it.
I'm from Second State.
speaking at Alan Everywhere,
Okay,
I
so-
seen your post.
All right, give me a chance here. Okay, so salary you need to afford the average home in your state based on a 30-year mortgage with a 10% down payment. Okay, and it's honestly these numbers get worse when you understand and realize that a lot of people in our age group also are tacked on with student loan debt, which is never going to get solved.
Oh, true.
I'm not going to get into that because I was talking about that a couple days ago with a friend of mine. They don't want to solve it, and it's never going to get solved because they don't want to, and it's going to upend the entire economy because there's nearly $2 trillion of principal that of our money that not only we pay taxes for to the school systems, not only are the schools benefiting from the inflated prices of that was pushed on by these, they're very much predatory loans.
Oh, yeah,
Really
that
look at the
for
definition of
sure.
Predatory loans. But imagine $2 trillion that are tied up in a whole bunch of endowments and a whole bunch of pensions. And if those $2 trillion disappear, the entire economy and all those federal workers and state workers that have all those pensions, the money that we spend, by the way, is going to collapse. The entire economy. Oh, man. But
Oh.
anyway,
Well, there's an easy way to solve the overpriced issue, but then a lot of the colleges and universities would start going out of businesses because they couldn't afford to maintain the luxuries that they've added on, including their unprofitable degrees that they offer.
Oh, I know that for
But
sure.
anyway, okay, so here we go. Back to this. Average salary needs to afford the average home in your state based on a 30-year mortgage with a 10% down payment. Yeah, and then you can see California's $120,000. There's just no way you're going to be able to find a job for that. And even then, I mean, people who are making this much aren't even able to afford a home. And that's the average home in the state
Right.
it depends because you know the average home in let's say a place like Florida is 10 times the average salary. Or the median salary in that state. It's very inflated.
Oh, yeah.
$70,000 in Florida. And this is why a lot of people are moving to the Midwest is because it's cheaper over here. Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky.
Pennsylvania. We are every house that goes rent or immediately maybe within a few weeks of the house going up, it's sold to somebody.
Ooh, like
People are moving to the Midwest.
Gun trucker.
It's a lot better to good morale all around them.
Jeez,
People all
gun
around
trucker,
them.
calm down.
Less place with the hood in their neighborhood.
That gun trucker for you.
Yeah, and I will say this, because I kind of want to revisit the whole snowbird argument, because I know
right.
somebody somewhere is going to say something about it. The whole thing, and when I visited Cape Coral, went down to Fort Myers, and we went and visited, because these are probably like two of my favorite Americans, Thomas Edison and Henry Ford. Both had their winter estates right next to each other in Fort Myers. But there's a difference because what's the grand irony about Florida is that it was basically built, modern Florida was built by snowbirds, funny enough. Okay,
That's
so
true.
as much as I talk about modern snowbirds and snowbirds back then, because Henry Flagler, that whole entire section, all the way from St. Augustine, all the way down to Key West, Flagler was born in Ohio. Made a lot of his money in New York. He was basically the brains behind Standard Oil. Retired into Florida, said, you know what, I want to make this place better, and basically built the entire east coast of Florida.
Oh yeah, that's
Henry
true.
Ford, Thomas Edison, I mean, these guys made their fortunes, but not only that, Thomas Edison was still working in Florida. In fact, he had an entire laboratory there, a chemical laboratory there, and he was working on different rubber compounds, using different rubber trees, and trying to figure out some ways to domesticate rubber production of trees within the United States. Now, that all basically upended itself when they figured out synthetic oil, but I mean, they were trying a whole bunch of ginkgo trees, a whole bunch of different ficus trees, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, like, it's just incredible what they tried to do. But this was the difference between a lot of the, again, and I've said this before, the character of Americans back then.
Oh
And
yeah.
what they tried to build is far more patriotic and far better for the country than the parasites we have now.
Oh,
that are just
true.
basically, they
So
don't
true.
really care for the average American. They don't care for what the country is going to become or the soul or morale of the country. There's a major problem with that.
Those are not parasites, Demetrius. Those are leeches.
True.
Leeches are kind of
It's just
parasite.
parasite, yeah. They are, well, anyway, we're all saying the same thing over here, you know?
Yeah, but when it comes to snowbirds, you can just be like me, who watches the snow from his computer screen, enjoying the warmer weather.
Oh, speaking of that Alan everywhere, Alan everywhere. I seen your post on Maine. You want to talk about this?
Sure. It basically happened a couple of days ago where I was reading an article about that, saying they're going to expand all the way up to Bangor. I think that probably makes sense that tourists is going to Acadia National Park because Bangor is the closest city there, so it probably makes sense. Plus, it has an airport there.
That ought make
Here we
good
are. Let me break
sense.
that up. Okay, so here we go. Just so everybody can see what we're talking about. Maine's rail infrastructure is once again under threat of removal and needs the public's help. There we are. Remove the most efficient. Does it make sense to remove the most efficient transportation mode for moving people and freight? Restrict local economies by eliminating a cheap way of moving goods and reducing heritage and leisure tourism. Tell local railroad companies with legitimate interest in these lines that their interests do not matter. pit railroad advocates and trail advocates against one another where both can thrive. Absolutely not. Yeah, and it's the problem is that a lot of these. The thing is that trail advocates or people who want to change rails to trails, most of the time it's like they just don't really care, and that's unfortunate. It's sad. And you can have a railroad and a trail next to a railroad, or go ahead and take your bikes and rails to
The
a
thing is that rails, it depends on the line. Rails and trails. Does this rail or does this trail line go out in the middle of nowhere? Or does it go in a city?
Like,
If it goes out in the middle of nowhere, it's a trail.
oh yeah,
If it
that for
goes
sure.
out in a city, make it a keep it. Make it useful depending on of course where it's at in the city.
Yeah.
Also,
Where am I going to see a sixth line?
I just found out that the same people who are trying to abandon rail lines up in Maine got connection to big automotive and big trucking in the area. So, but big oil, so they got that connection.
What?
I haven't.
Are you sure it involves trucking?
Oh yeah,
Truckers rely on the railroad. Truckers rely a lot on the railroad.
They do. They do. He's got a logistics center.
they do at a certain point, and then
Really yet.
they.
Like where are the terminals? Where are the destination terminals about? Where's the closest destination they could get for the rail lines?
But it did crazy when you did think about it, because some of the stuff that are happening don't add up, you know? Because here at Zane, because I actually have seen stuff like this happen before, where trucking companies think that, oh, we could do great without the railroads, and next thing you know, face flat. I think same thing is happening up in Maine, you know? But it ain't the first time.
The trucking industry.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fine, but it's pretty good.
Some of them are independent
Yes,
truckers.
the majority of them are independent, but
It depends. Most of them are independent. Some of them, a lot of them, new guys start out with a company, and a lot of them also work for a company, because it's easier for the company to manage their finances than for them to manage
Oh yeah,
their
that's
finances.
true.
Yeah, I'd like to say something about the azaleas.
Alright,
We're jumping back and forth. Okay, wait. The azalea's gonna come out soon, so we're gonna have a whole stream on that. But yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
going to
that
talk
for
about the
sure.
azaleas. Let's move on to another topic. Who was talking before?
I just wanted to talk about something. I have two new articles. One that both have something to do with Texas. One is about the Texas Central federal grant cancellation bill to derail Texas high-speed rail.
Yeah, I think we talked about that before.
Yeah, and another one is bill to slash Dallas-Fort Worth transit funding advances in Texas House of Representatives.
Oh yeah, we talked about both
on
of
the
them.
live stream chat here, or is this on the general chat?
It's in the politics chat.
Okay, politics chat. Let me go ahead and look for that and bring that over.
Yeah.
One of them on Texas Central.
That's up my.
Alright,
I wanted to talk about this. There is a politician that I actually nailed it down. That the sponsor of this bill is a guy that has deep connections with the automobile and airline industry.
Yeah, David, weren't you talking about this?
Yes,
guy before?
yes, I was.
You know,
We mentioned, or is this a different one?
we were talking about this last time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This looks familiar, and I know we talked about this.
It was from the last stream.
Yeah, this was from the last stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said before, I don't really see much happening when it comes to Texas Central. I don't think it's going to be happening. Texas is really doing everything it can to shoot itself in the foot multiple times,
You know what?
in every sort of way it can.
What Texas do what Texas does?
It's unfortunate and it's sad for the people of Texas, which I'm pretty sure if you actually do an actual real poll of people in Texas, whether they're Republican, Democrat, whichever side of the aisle they are, they most likely would be in favor of high-speed rail. And you're generally going to see an 80 to 90% support
Oh,
for
yeah, that for
high-speed
sure.
rail across the board. That's just,
They've done a survey like that, and they found there people under 50 are in vast support of it.
And that thing. People.
Mainly because, that's really what it is. Those who are over 65 were old enough to remember a time when the railroads were in their decline due to just mass mismanagement, overtaxation, overregulation, and then they basically got consolidated into either the big four freight lines or into
Your only hope of getting Texas high-speed rail is probably through another startup company, or it would not surprise me if Brightline tries to tap into that market as well. On the road. Only fine with that. Brightline's been successful. They're doing California they're doing LA to thinking Las Vegas right now.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be finished before California high-speed rail's done.
They could do it from Dallas to Houston.
Oh, yeah, and
I
They can. I would probably do San Antonio. Not San Antonio. I'd probably do Austin first. Austin to Houston, or
Austin to Houston is slightly shorter, but Austin has a much lower population than Dallas, Fort Worth.
it does, but
yeah, it's more concentrated.
Once you look at the numbers, it's like 100. It's 170 to 180 miles from Houston to Dallas, but you're going from about 10 million people over to about 2 to 3 million people in the Austin area versus about 9.5 to 10 million up in Dallas Fort Worth.
So here's what I think they should do if they do Texas is they should do Dallas Fort Worth with San Antonio. Connect that heavy region of travel together.
oh yeah,
Yeah, most down I-35
Amtrak already has, not to mention Amtrak already has service between San Antonio and the Fort Worth, Dallas through Austin too.
Get rid of that too, or
trying to get rid of that once a day.
oh yeah.
That's the problem. Nobody's going to take that.
You gotta think, how long does it take to fly from Dallas all the way to San Antonio?
Like,
Yeah, that train was about 8 to 9 hours, where you can drive it without traffic in under 6.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the problem with most of Amtrak routes outside of the Northeast Corridor. It's and we talked about this when it comes from, let's say, Indianapolis to Chicago. That's something that should be taking only an hour or two. Yeah, and then the problem is that, well, you only have the Cardinal now because the Hoosier is gone. You only have the Cardinal leaving, at 2 o'clock in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning, or you can take the bus, which is funny enough faster than Amtrak, which makes it makes sense when you know why, but it doesn't make any logical sense that a bus is faster than the train.
oh I know, and
The Cardinal for years and still kind of is one of Amtrak's more secret trains.
Yeah.
You don't really know about it. And why is still in the morning? I gotta know.
No, it's-
It is to start a train at 2 in the morning and go to Chicago, or going, what is it, New York?
Yeah, I think the Cardinal, it goes from New York all the way to Chicago.
oh yeah, and
New York, DC, goes through, and then Ohio, Indianapolis, Chicago. Oh, sorry, Louisville, up to Chicago.
hey,
Let's do something controversial. I think they should slash the one in half.
guy,
Slash it in half, run it down to they go to Columbus, right?
heck, I remember what happened to, guys, I remember what happened to the Hoosier State, because I remember the money that was supposed to go to the Hoosier State, that went to an airline flight from Ohio to Paris. Am I right?
Oh, Indianapolis to Paris, yeah.
Yeah,
Direct flight between, I think it was a Delta, Delta between Indianapolis to Paris, which, who's going to be able to afford that now?
Nobody.
We got robbed. It's
I
obvious.
have a good question. Who rides that plane?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but
I don't think anybody.
the people who
Paris?
the people who allowed that to happen should have went to jail, you know? They should have went to jail. Should have been, you know, because you are destroying infrastructure and stuff for the American people.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I mean, what's the crazy thing that from Chicago to Milwaukee, you have the Hiawatha, and that runs like 9 times a day. And that's outside of the Northeast Corridor. I think that's the only one, or one of the only 2 in the Midwest that actually make a profit.
And
yeah,
the
and it goes
Wolverine.
pretty fast. It's like a 90-mile-an-hour top speed for which, yeah, compared to the rest of the United States, it's pretty fast. Chicago, Milwaukee, I think within an hour or so. So yeah, I mean, it's look, it happened, and they made a new. I'll try to see it whenever I have a chance to go to Milwaukee again. Yeah. Whenever Ruben comes back on, I miss hearing from Ruben because he was obsessed with this.
I know.
The, Milwaukee Intermoto and everything. Yeah, this is actually not a bad looking station here too. They redid it because it was from what I've heard, and you know my wife is a Milwaukee native. It was an absolute disaster before, and they destroyed the beautiful. Kind of similar to what happened at Penn Station. They did this to a whole bunch of places, but Milwaukee had a beautiful central station. Then it was destroyed. Then they built some crappy thing. Then they got rid of that because nobody liked it. Now they built this, which is better. But I mean, this is not really memorable. But I guess better than what it was before. But I mean, the good thing is that you have the Northeast Regional, or not? I'm sorry, not the Northeast Regional. Why is this here? They're probably using some the equipment from there, or borrowing the equipment from the Northeast Regional. But yeah, a whole lot of Midwestern trains through here. You have the Hiawatha. There you go, Amtrak Midwest. So yeah,
it's crazy.
It can work. So it obviously works when you put the effort to it, and it's just a matter of time that once our generation gets more power, at some point it's just going to happen.
It's going to happen, that for sure.
We will start seeing it again.
And Dimitri, I do want to bring it up. I was talking to a friend of mine who came down from Wisconsin today, from Milwaukee. He told me that they've been talking about building a commuter rail before it got shot down to the ground. They were talking about doing a commuter rail system, and they were also talking about trying to do an Amtrak train to Green Bay, which that got shot down to the ground, you know?
Oh man, you know how many people would think that whenever there's a Green Bay game? Come on, that is so silly.
Like,
why would they shoot like that?
That's a no-brainer.
I know.
Like, literally, like, I was talking to, and there was a friend of mine who came down from Wisconsin. He told me this. He said that why in the hell would they not do an Amtrak train from Milwaukee to Green Bay? He said that would do so much for the communities that would be along the rail line. Plus, it would bring in so much money during Green Bay games.
You're going to be packing a lot of money with that one, pun intended. You will be packing in a lot of money.
There were a few problems that they had leading up to the draft of that train. One of the course now being obvious was the equipment shortage. They would not have the equipment to do it.
But you want to know what's funny?
I think the freight railroad that owns the line rejected the offer of having that train.
No.
Oh man, they're missing out then.
You want?
Or I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the story, but yeah, look, that is just come on. That's look, Green Bay to Milwaukee. I mean, come on. That is just come on, obvious. Obvious to go ahead and do it up to Green Bay. Come on.
Like Dimitri. Like Dimitri, guys.
Just put it to Lambeau Field. There you go. Look, is that a railroad that goes across? There you go. Here's a railroad that goes across. There you go. Right here.
Like
obvious.
Dimitri.
Obvious to go ahead and go up to Green Bay. Come on.
Like.
All right. Whose mic is going? Because I'm getting feedback over here. Yeah. Put it right in front of this.
There he is. Turn your mic off.
Somebody's mic. Here's a railroad that goes across. There you go. It was there. Now I gotta key off. It's getting feedback somewhere. Somebody's getting.
I know. Guys. But here, James, can Can I tell you the crazy thing?
Okay.
They are.
We have a business opportunity, so we'll just guys. We have to do this now. We have to. We got to get Ruben back also to get this going. We're gonna do a Milwaukee to Green Bay high speed rail.
I know.
We're doing this. Let's go.
But Dimitri, I'm gonna bring it up.
Let's do it. Milwaukee to Green Bay or Chicago to Milwaukee?
No, Chicago to Milwaukee. That's already good. Yeah, why not both? Yeah, there you go.
Dimitri,
There you go.
hey,
Well, it really should. Well, I would just. Okay, Chicago to Milwaukee is already a pretty fast trip. So
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Let's do Milwaukee to Green Bay and then just like compete. Let's get something that the market is not doing. Let's put our business caps on here. Let's do something that let's serve a demand.
Chicago to Green Bay. Do it direct Chicago to Green Bay, so then they don't have to change trains. They just stay on the train.
Dimitri, hey guy, can I talk?
Milwaukee and probably I don't know wherever else, maybe Kenosha, Sheboygan, and then Appleton.
Guy,
Yeah, I think they need to connect to that. That's a growing region.
Here, let's do
That is a very growing region.
guys, I'm about to bring that up. The funny thing, when I was talking to my friend from Wisconsin, they also told me that they're paying an airline to do a flight from Milwaukee to Green Bay. So the airlines are behind this.
Probably, but I mean, it's like who's like you can't. That's not mass travel. I mean, the people who are going to be taking a flight between Milwaukee to Green Bay probably have enough money to go ahead and do that all the time. It's really ridiculous. Anyway, Bright Light fan, you were saying something before?
Speaking about Amtrak, listen, airlines, your main problem.
That's not mass travel. I mean, the people who are going to be taking a flight between Milwaukee. Yeah, well, that's been something that Amtrak's need to do. Look, at least they're not the Mexican Navy. Let's put it that way. I'm surprised nobody's mentioned that. I've like mentioned it like twice. Just
Yeah. I remember that too.
What was that?
What happened with human error? It was human error plus an engine failure. What happened was the engine failed and someone forgot the tide was coming in, so when they tried to pull the boat out, the high tide that was coming in dragged the boat back in.
Okay, wait, we're talking about what okay, one thing at a time here. Okay, let's talk about what happened over
Yeah, that one hit the news quick.
Look, when I first saw that ship, I thought it was like, is this like a party boat, like one of those pirate party boats that you see in Key West or something like that? That's what I thought.
I see like a simple.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. So here we go. For those of you who've not seen it, because at this point, I think everybody has already seen this, but here you go.
Oh yeah.
Mexican Navy.
They left people dangling from the top of the.
That for sure.
Not too good with my Aztec here. Not that I ever was. Spanish-built bark with 277 crew members collided with the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City just before 9 p.m. One of the ship's 150-foot mast struck the bridge, snapping and triggering a large-scale search and rescue operation. Yeah, because there was a whole bunch of people that were up on top of that. I don't pronounce that. Anyway, this is just weird. Bridge appears undamaged pending official confirmation. Yeah, like I said, the things were so. Brooklyn Bridge.
Especially wooden ship that went to bridge.
One of the ships. Yeah, I mean the way that Brooklyn Bridge is built. I mean you're just not gonna knock that down. But here you go for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Oh yeah, I've seen it when I was there in New York, but also I do want to bring up that what happened in New York was when they made a mistake. Engine failure. It was two things that happened. One, when they were coming in, their engine failed. Two, if the tide was coming in, it was high tide going in, and they forgot. They made the mistake, and
wait, what did they forget? So what was the big mistake that they made?
That the tide was coming in.
Yeah.
So they couldn't put an anchor down or anything like that? Just like drop an anchor?
Well,
no. What really happened was
What did they have on the ship?
that there was a high tide, and they said there was no other way that ship would have gone there unless there was a low tide, and then they forgot about the high tide. So even if they did everything, the engines didn't fail, they would not be able to get out of that harbor
Oh
at
yeah,
all.
that for sure.
Yeah, it's just like in a boat. They got the low tide and high tide.
Okay. Darius, we'll let you speak, but you have to turn off. You have some feedback or something. You have something on speaker, so we're listening to each other twice, and it's interrupting everything.
Oh,
so
yeah.
let me know when you have that fixed.
May I speak after him?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so Renell, well, go ahead. You were saying? Darius, we'll let you speak, but you have to turn off. You have some.
How do I turn off the feedback? How am I going to turn it off?
Mute the live stream.
Let Renell speak.
Mute the live stream.
All right, are we good? All right. Okay, so YouTube live stream, we're good on here. Okay.
There we go.
Turned mine off.
I have it going.
Okay, yeah, we're all good. Okay, Renell, go ahead.
Hey, congratulations again on your wedding.
Thank you, man. Before. No, I heard you loud and clear the first time, but of course, any congratulations I'll take. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Like, I can
I'm gonna kind of throw in the Japanese trains here. I like the way they look, and I saw like a video documentary. It was like a timeline of the innovations starting in the 1960s through all the way through the N700 series. Now, if you put together a timeline like, hey, this is what Amtrak trains looked like back in 1980, and here's what they look like through 2025. I think they're exactly the same as they were then.
Oh yeah.
They just recently started to change, and mainly the reason because of that change was because of Brightline.
Brightline was the reason why.
Basically copying Brightline's homework, but I mean, look, that's better than nothing. That's better, but yeah. I mean, it's just incredible what the Japanese were able to do with their bullet trains. I mean, that was the main reason why I got into saying, why don't we just do the same thing? Because it was after, and Darius, if you can fix your mic, you can chime on this as well, because this was part of part of the whole history of the club. Was when we were going from Miami to New York all the time on Amtrak. I mean, it took 36 hours that one trip, and then we just got so ticked off. But when I got to the hotel, put on National Geographic, and they were talking exactly about the Japanese Shinkansen system. It's like, whoa, shoot, we could have already had this already in America since probably the 1970s if we really wanted to. If we really cared, if we really wanted to do something, yeah. But I mean, now we're way behind.
Oh, that's true.
Albeit slowly, but we can get there. Yeah. But I mean, look at this, and this is.
But hey, Brightline was first to innovate.
Yeah.
So you
can see this is from right to the left over here. This is like all the different types of bullet trains that they have over in Japan. This is that older one. This is like a Series 100 over here. And to the left of it is the E5 Shinkansen, the Hayabusa, which is
crazy.
one of my favorites. I mean, but look at just in 40 years. The difference between something that looks like a jumbo jetliner to something that looks like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Oh,
it's
yeah, that is true.
What they were able to do. It changes in innovation.
And Dimitri, I will bring up that one of the reasons why we have not had high-speed rail that much in the country, one, big automobile, big oil, and the airlines. Like, they are all cahooting together, They're literally cahooting to keep...
Meanwhile, this is Amtrak. Here's Amtrak in the 1990s, and then here's Amtrak now. more or less. But anyway,
Like, they're literally cahooting left and right. Like, that's the problem.
Trains we've had forever.
Did I solve my issue?
oh man, but
Still here.
night day different, guys. Night day different. All right, yeah. For those of you not seeing on Discord, it's the Genesis. Not to poke any fun at Genesis here in the chat, but yeah, it's the Genesis.
Sorry, bud.
Okay, Darius, I think did you fix your stuff now? I think it's working now. Let's
Hopefully.
hear from Darius. Darius, are you there?
I was, yeah.
Heck. Alright, I'm keeping an eye on my live stream because when my live stream cut off at the 47-minute mark earlier, and we're right now at 45-minute in, so I'm hoping it don't cut off again, you know?
Are you there? Yeah. Well, let's make it easier now. Let's go ahead and start bringing it in. Let's we're closing in on 9:45, so let's close it up at 9:45. Let's get some last words here.
Oh yeah.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna go scroll through all the stuff that we didn't get to talking about yet.
Okay, what else do we want to talk about? We got 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes. Go ahead.
It did crazy when you did think about it.
Let's go ahead and get in. We're closing in on 9:45. Let's see what other articles we have over here. Let's also look at the chat because I've been looking. There's been some interesting topics of conversation going on in the YouTube chat over here.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the Crayola paint scheme?
Oh. Oh, speaking of that, Dimitri, I want to bring it up that transit project I have for my hometown that I'm planning for here for Trenton, South Carolina. I'm going to be planning it soon. It's going to be like a 2-episode series, and I'm probably going to need you for both episodes for some parts, you know?
Yeah, sure. Let me know, man. We'll go ahead and coordinate on that and get that going.
Because one, and I'm going to say this, they're both beginning construction in about a week and a half on the new BRT from here in Charleston. They're both to begin that very soon, you know? And seeing that I'm hoping for, I want to educate people on it and why we should have not went with it and why we should have went with a commuter rail or a light rail system instead. Because here at Zane, I done looked at the plan for the BRT system here in Charleston for the ideal. Total boondoggle. It's not going to work.
Yeah, no, it sounds very silly.
Like we even talked about it a couple of years ago. Like almost a year ago, we talked about it, and I showed you the plans for the BRT here in Charleston, and you even agreed with me that it's not going to work. Like
here's the way they actually.
Most BRT in the United States, it's lackluster, it's mediocre. The biggest boost in probably ridership it gets is the first day it comes out, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, Darius, you're back now.
Oh yeah.
So it's against transit.
Yeah. Okay, Darius. Yeah. Most BRT in the United States, it's lackluster. Okay, Darius, you still have something in the background, man. It's still whatever you have in the background. Turn it off.
Oh yeah.
You're using down, please. I know you're using more than one device.
He probably is using one to more
Getting the
device.
stream, you gotta turn it off.
I think I muted my YouTube video.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now it's good. Now it's good.
Yeah.
Go
Just
ahead.
keep it muted, bud. Don't take it off of mute. Keep it on mute.
Alright, so as I posted there's been turboprop airways that still actually serve between Miami and Orlando for Fort Lauderdale.
Huh. Okay, we made it past.
Yeah, was it like an
about
island hop or
27.
something like
I'm at
that? Or
47.
people going from, let's say, like a Caribbean island, and then they take another connection via turboprop, I guess.
Oh yeah.
It's the same kind of turboprop airliner.
Yeah.
For Key West, it makes sense. I mean, for Key West it makes sense, but for Orlando, not just kind of a little bit tiny bit impractical, but
Yeah, it impractical. That's what it is.
A321s flying from MIA to Orlando.
Well, I'm pretty sure it will start happening, and this has happened in every country.
They do that because they're trying to compete.
Done, trucker. Let Demetrius speak.
With the small planes that you're talking about.
You know?
Trying to that.
So, I mean, and it is the thing, every time that high-speed rail or any sort of high-speed intercity line is introduced between city pairs, what starts to happen is that market share on the railroad increases, and a market share for passengers on flights connecting to the same places in the region also decrease. That's why Belgium, there's no more domestic flights within Belgium. Now, Belgium's a small country, but if you compare, let's say, Belgium to South and Central Florida, we're talking maybe more or less the same size.
Oh, yeah.
So that's probably going to start happening.
Also, France doesn't really have any domestic flights either.
But France is a large country. France is about the size of Texas, more or less. Give or take, about the eastern end of Texas is about the same.
Oh, yeah, that's the same.
But France also banned all commercial flights under 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Just so they can incentivize rail travel.
What?
Rail and regional trains and sleeper trains.
Oh, yeah, and
So the reason it does sound like things. The problem here is that airlines make money, but it's still a waste. Why do we have these short flights anyway?
because that's how they make their money. Because done, trucker. Let me explain.
Need to get from point A to point B. We're going to choose the best longer flight.
Hey, guy, let me explain.
Focus on international flights or heck.
I'll get you all that.
I just figured it out now.
Well, the low budget airlines, they
I just
have
figured it out now. That's probably why the airports are so.
Guy,
How do I say it? The airports are so
hey, guy, can I speak on the reason why?
unnecessary.
also, we have an old air traffic control system that still needs to be updated. Like, we're still using the radar from the 70s.
Like,
It's pretty silly.
hey, done, truck. Can I explain
Needs to
the?
be updated. We need an entire update here in this country. Let's hear it.
Done, trucker.
Rail, road, seaports.
ABCU, done, trucker. Guys, I'm trying to speak.
Guys, one at a time, please.
The only domestic flights that they must allow to the U.S. are Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico.
All right.
And Guam as well.
But what about the long term? What about the that's a little bit quite extreme. What about the long hauls between New York and California?
I think he's saying domestic flights within states.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
Hear me out on some of these.
Not New York.
Done, trucker.
New York to Miami on a train.
Miami and New York, it makes sense.
Okay, guys, stop. Okay, so somebody mentioned. Okay, so here's a good point. Somebody mentioned New York to DC. Funny enough, because here we have. Why am I talking about every other country when we have an example in our own country that works? So the Acela serves between Washington and New York. If I remember correctly, Amtrak has about 60% market share over the amount of travelers between DC and New York. It's not too many people fly between DC and New York. They all take the Acela.
Oh yeah, that
Pretty much.
that for sure. But
And the worst part about it is Amtrak on that line is considered subpar with 60%. Imagine if they were average with a regular European or East Asian system. They would have more than they probably have more than 80%.
like, and
Yeah, it probably is. Okay, let me ask Brock. What percentage of travelers between DC and New York take Acela versus domestic flights?
Flights or driving.
done, trucker. Tone it down.
Here we go. Wow. Okay. Here we go. So data. Okay, guys. Okay. Stop. Okay. So data from 2021 indicates that Amtrak, Acela, Northeast Regional Services together captured an 83% share of air train commuters between New York City and Washington D.C.
That is.
Up from 37% in 2000. So
That-
there you go. It works in our country.
It does.
It works. Yeah, that's why the airlines don't want it. They won't kill them.
Exactly.
They'll lose.
They know they would lose the moment that we start building like high speed.
Miami and
Hold on, one at a time.
Airlines have to lose. Besides the green.
They have to lose the moment.
Besides the green.
The
I'll
moment.
make this really quick. On so ARP.
Those small hot flights are.
Okay, wait. Dump trucker first, then Darius, then David. Go.
So you talk about how we need to update the air traffic control system around nationwide. The problem with that is that you would have to go from airport to airport to airport. That's going to cost.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
That's already been under way for quite a while. I think by the end
Oh yeah, that for
of the
sure.
decade or before the end of the decade, we should have a modern air traffic control system. It was first started by the first Trump administration, but Biden put it on hold. I don't know why, but we really need it.
Biden hated what Trump was doing.
Regulation is going to be a big seller. Regulation was a big.
One at a time.
And we need to slash and burn all these regulations, and even for like existing infrastructure like the NEC, just to
Like
update the amendment that requires approval, even if it's within their own land. I give you a couple examples.
Like 6 months. Seems like the regulations are doing more harm
then
to
good.
the movement of people and infrastructure.
Yeah,
And
but I think
they're supposed to protect.
exactly.
They're doing more harm than good.
Yep, and I can give you a brief example with New
The
York.
way it breaks.
Now there
Right
is.
now, what you can do to cut 30 minutes off the current journey time is straighten that S curve out at Elizabeth, and also improve the curve at Frankfurt Junction.
Oh yeah.
Elizabeth, that's going to be really hard to straighten, especially with health and businesses there.
Actually, there's enough space to do it within existing alignment.
He right. They're
You would
right.
have to require right of way.
Guys, I think we have to. Well, let's save this conversation when the Avelia becomes for public ridership, and then we can talk more into detail about the
right.
Northeast corridor, because we're getting into something. This is good conversation. I like this, but I think this will be better served once we start talking about Amtrak fully, because we're past our time here.
And-
yeah, knowing them, it's going to be probably next month or the month after when they get it opened.
Yeah, so hold it for a month. We'll get back to it. We will get there. All right, guys. This was a good time conversation. This was good.
And Dimitri, can I say what I was going to say because everybody kind of cut me off?
We're gonna start putting this, and it's gonna be good. We have a lot of good stuff planned out for the channel. Catherine may start working in helping out with this as well. So we're gonna try out a couple things here to try to boost some more into the channel. Let's get back past that 25,000 mark. We're gonna get to that 30,000 subscriber mark. We're gonna start putting out actual videos again. So now all the hard stuff and everything that we were planning and talked about, it's behind us. So now we can start moving forward. We can start making the videos again. We can start doing all that. So I'm settled in my job, settled in my marriage. Yeah, we can start moving stuff here again.
Oh,
So,
Dimitri, can I?
I'm sorry, guys. I mean, you guys are not. Again, it's not that you're lower priority in the scale. It's just that I got like some other things I had to work on in life, and now I can finally get this back on the road again.
All right.
It is perfectly fine. We all have challenges and
Hey, Duntra, can I speak because everybody kept on cutting me off? Like,
All right, David. Last thing. Go ahead.
like, this one thing I'm going to say.
Sorry, man.
didn't want to say that I'm going to say because I've been trying to say, but Dun Trucker, not trying to be mean to you, man. You gotta moderate yourself. You keep on cutting everybody off. You gotta moderate yourself, bud.
Go ahead. You have the floor.
But one thing I'm going to say, if we deregulate the railroad, and I'm saying it, deregulate the railroad now, give it about 5 years or so, and we could be seeing a lot more passenger rails popping up, a lot more regional railroad popping up, and a ton more like commuter rail system popping up. Stuff like deregulate the railroad.
Here's the problem, David. You know how BNSF still wants to have those one-man crews, right?
Trust me, they won't get it. They won't get it.
Yeah, Joe, I think they're at least they're saying that they're going to keep the 2-man crews. But let's see. All right, let's keep this conversation for next time, guys.
Yeah.
We're way past our time, but this was good conversation. Very glad to be back on board again. Okay, I know we're gonna, man, we're past full over here with a whole lot of people here.
I
So
know.
This is good, guys. I'm glad we're getting here. All right. Thank you all for joining on board. There's no more final things to say for anybody. I'm sorry. It's a lot. We did a lot. We'll do another lounge. We'll do another lounge next week. Okay, guys. We'll talk about that. But thank you all for coming on board. Congratulations. Thank you.
One merry man to another one. I hope everything go well, bud.
Alright, let's let him do his outro.
Alright. I hope everybody enjoyed the live stream. Please like and subscribe. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Good night. Take care. Godspeed.
Bye.
Good night.